Simple and Clean is such an ironic theme song. Welcome to A Line Through Time, where I take the time to look through your favourite franchises and work out how it all lines up. With Kingdom Hearts 3 releasing soon, I've decided to go against my usual rule of waiting until the new installment is out and release it ahead of the game for that sweet ad revenue I'll get from the 5 people who watch this. There's a lot of really complicated and dumb stuff to discuss, so let's get cracking. Kingdom Hearts was allegedly conceived when a Square Enix developer got in a lift with a Disney employee and suggested the idea of a Disney and Final Fantasy crossover. The actual PS2 game from 2002 isn't really that though. Instead, it's an action RPG about original characters meeting Disney characters and the occasional Final Fantasy character with backgrounds so radically different that they may as well be new characters. This is somewhat strange given that the series writer and director Tetsuya Nomura worked on numerous FF games. The premise is simple. There are many worlds that have fallen into darkness, including the home of our hero Sora, who then sets out as the wielder of the legendary Keyblade to find his friends, Riku and Kairi. He is joined by Donald Duck and Goofy, who are searching for King Mickey after he left Disney Castle to deal with the darkness. The three then become embroiled in the scheme of a cabal of Disney villains attempting to abduct the Princesses of Heart to gain access to Kingdom Hearts, the heart of all worlds that will grant ultimate power and wisdom. Kairi is revealed as one of the 7 princesses, and Sora's group defeats the cabal. Riku appears, possessed by the true antagonist Ansem, who is then defeated by Sora. With help from Riku and Mickey, Sora, Donald and Goofy are able to close the door to darkness, but are then separated from the others and their adventure continues. Shockingly, the story continues in the 2004 GBA game Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, later remade on the PS2 as Re-Chain of Memories. Sora and friends arrive in Castle Oblivion, where their memories are slowly erased and replaced with memories of a new girl named Namine, who is being forced to alter their memories by the sinister Organization 13. At the same time, Riku enters the castle and clashes with the organization. Once most of the present members are killed, Sora and friends agree to be put to sleep so Namine can undo the damage she did to their memories. 2005's Kingdom Hearts 2 picks up 1 year later with a new character named Roxas who can wield the Keyblade. He's later revealed as Sora's Nobody, which is created when a person becomes a Heartless, as Sora did briefly during the first game. It used to be that a Heartless was somebody who lost their heart, but 2 retconned it so that the now Heartless body is a Nobody and the heart with no body is a Heartless. The rest of the organisation are also nobodies, including their leader Xemnas, the nobody of Xehanort, whose Heartless was Ansem, but both discarded his name in favour of his mentor Ansem the Wise for reasons that I'm sure make sense inside Nomura's head, but certainly don't to me. Sora destroys the rest of the organisation, reunites with Riku, Kairi and Mickey, and the story wraps up quite nicely. But if Square's attitude towards Final Fantasy VII wasn't an indicator of their attitude towards cash cows, then Kingdom Hearts certainly is. 3 spin-offs were quickly announced, all of which are actually super important for the main story. Coded was a 2008 mobile game, later remade for the DS, and then had its story converted into a HD cutscene movie for the HD collections. Picking up after KH2, the digital version of Jiminy Cricket, oh yeah, Jiminy comes with Donald and Goofy for some fucking reason, Jiminy's journal is created so they can learn the truth about a mysterious message in the journal from Namine, whom Sora and friends don't remember. It mainly exists to drop hints about the other 2 games. The following year, the DS received 358 Days Over 2, which is not read as it's written. The game details Roxas' time as a member of Organization 13, from Sora becoming a Heartless in KH1, right up to the beginning of KH2, where the Nobody's 7-day adventure begins, equaling 365 days. That's actually the reason for the name. I'm not kidding. The game fleshes out Roxas' relationship with fan-favourite organisation member Axel, as well as a new super important character that we just didn't know about called Shion, who's a special nobody hybrid thing. One thing you will notice about this series is that it is very fanficky at times. In 2010, the PSP received Birth by Sleep, which is based on an unlockable bonus video of the same name from KH2. The game is a prequel set 10 years before KH1, following a new, suspiciously similar trio to Sora, Riku and Kairi in Ventus, Terra and Best Girl Aqua. Its story sees them torn apart by the blatantly villainous Master Xehanort, who plans to use Ventus to form a special Keyblade to access Kingdom Hearts, and he possesses Terra's body and gets amnesia and becomes Apprentice Xehanort, who will one day become Ansem and Xemnas and...
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Ven's heart connects with Sora to explain why Roxas looks like him, Aqua is lost in the world of darkness, and it turns out Sora has a Keyblade because of Ventus, not because he's uniquely chosen to wield one. Though I think they've tried to have it both ways in more recent games. It's pretty bad. The game also introduces the Keyblade War as part of the backstory, which I think is supposed to explain why, despite once thriving, there are now so few Keyblade wielders. In 2012, the 3DS received Dream Drop Distance, which continues the story of Sora and Riku. Another thing you'll notice is that this franchise is such a whore for getting in bed with so many game systems, rather than letting the essential games stick to one line of consoles. Sora and Riku are taking the Mark of Mastery exam for Keyblade wielders under Yen Sid. Oh yeah, Riku can wield a Keyblade as well now, which involves them going into the dreams of worlds that have fallen into darkness or something. They each experience the same worlds but separately and in different ways, but there is some connection between the two where one can influence the other, even though the actual events are completely separate from each other. It's so complicated. While there, it's revealed that Master Xehanort is back because his Nobody and Heartless were killed in the correct order, and that he plans to create a new organisation consisting of 13 versions of himself from across time. Yes, time travel is a key plot point now, haha. And some of these versions are other characters transformed into Xehanorts because it's all part of a prophecy about them fighting 7 lights, which are presumably Sora and his friends. Remember when this series was just about a boy looking for his friends and going on zany adventures with classic Disney characters? Yeah, that was nice. The following year, Square released Kingdom Hearts Chi, a browser game set before the Keyblade War, and was then succeeded by the mobile game Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, which was then rebranded as Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, with the Greek letter repeatedly having its pronunciation changed because this franchise refuses to be simple despite being made for children. According to my friend Cute Little Angel, whom you may recall from the Fatal Frame episode, Key started as a retelling of Chi, which was rebranded as Cross once it caught up and continued from there. Chi is no longer canon as it's been replaced entirely by Cross. And yes, if you write that out as presented, it's impossible to tell what's going on. She also told me that Union begins before the Keyblade War but continues on a little past it. 2017 saw the last bit of Kingdom Hearts content before KH3, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue on the PS4, because there was no new entry on the PS3. I'm not even kidding. Following in the vein of the 2 previous HD collections, this releases a compilation of Dream Drop Distance HD and 2 brand new chapters. Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep: A Fragmentary Passage, a Ground Zeroes-esque prologue to Kingdom Hearts 3 starring Aqua, and Kingdom Hearts Chi/Key/Cross back cover, a new movie made in the KH3 engine that is a companion to the Chi saga. The former reveals that while 10 years passed between Birth by Sleep and KH1, only 2 have passed in the Realm of Darkness, allowing Aqua to barely change by the time she teams up with Mickey to help out during the first game's climax. The latter is another story set during and a little before Union. And this brings us finally to Kingdom Hearts 3 in 2019. Sora's got a lot of people to save, like Terra, Aqua, Xion, Frozen Elsa whose heart is filled with darkness, Ventus, and a bunch of others. This one's going to end the Xehanort saga, which has gone on for so long that at least 4 major voice actors involved with the series died between KH2 and 3, including both Master Xehanorts. Nomura, please let someone else have a go. Someone who just wants to tell a fun story that doesn't need 800 games released across 42 different systems to set up. If you'd like to get into the series in preparation for KH3, good luck finishing by release, then you're in luck because Square realised how messed up the release pattern was and decided to make things easier with some HD collections. The PS3's Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 remix features KH1, Recom, and a cutscene compilation movie of Days. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 remix contains KH2, BBS, and a compilation of Recoded. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix combines the 2 into one collection on the PS4, with an additional scene added to Days via DLC, somehow. Then the aforementioned Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue contains 3D, Fragmentary Passage, and back cover. There's also the US exclusive Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far, which combines both HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix and HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue into a single release on PS4 but not on Xbox One apparently. Even their attempt to simplify this shit is complicated as fuck. It's so complicated, in fact, that I can't adequately summarise it for the final summary. You know, you boil a story down to its most essential components, only to then find that you miss a detail that, in a summary of just that story, is utterly irrelevant, but turns out to be a key plot point in a later story. Like how Sora becoming a Heartless isn't worth commenting on in KH1, but it then creates like 3 other characters in the sequel, so it has to be included. If you're not already familiar with the story, given how many characters are returning, there is nothing I can do to prepare you for KH3, I'm sorry. Your best bet really is to just get the PS4 collections or watch the cutscenes online. But I'll give it a go regardless. I'll have to leave out a lot of characters, but this should give you a basic idea of the plot. So, without further ado, the bare bones Kingdom Hearts timeline goes a little something like this. The Master of Masters bestows the Book of Prophecies onto his apprentices, the Foretellers. The Foretellers build up 5 Union factions to gather light particles called Lux. The book reveals one of the Foretellers as a traitor, turning them against each other and sparking the Keyblade War, which results in the deaths of most of the Keyblade wielders. Also, Ventus is there for some reason. Many years later, Master Xehanort manipulates the 3 students of Master Ericus to create the Keyblade, that's the X kind of key, and access Kingdom Hearts. He possesses Terra and becomes amnesiac after losing to Aqua, who becomes lost in the world of darkness. Ventus's heart becomes a part of Sora. Xehanort becomes the apprentice of Ansem the Wise, who later rejects him after discovering the research he's been doing into the darkness. Ansem is exiled to the realm of darkness, and Xehanort takes on his name before becoming a heartless and nobody, Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and Xemnas. He turns the other apprentices into heartlesses and nobodies to create Organization 13. 10 years later, Sora meets up with Donald and Goofy while looking for their respective friends. They defeat Maleficent's cabal and save the Princesses of Heart. They then defeat Ansem Seeker of Darkness and seal the door to Kingdom Hearts. Aqua also helps behind the scenes. Sora's group and Riku enter Castle Oblivion and kill around half of Organization 13. Sora's group is put to sleep to undo Naminé's tampering with their memories, which requires Sora's nobody, Roxas, to become one with him again. While part of Organization 13, Roxas befriends Axel and Xion, but is forced to kill Xion so that Sora can become whole. Roxas leaves the organization and later rejoins with Sora. Sora's group wakes up and continues to search for their friends. They eliminate the rest of the organization, including Xemnas, which allows Master Xehanort to resurrect. The heroes then return home with their friends. Mickey looks through a digital version of Jiminy's journal, which really doesn't go anywhere. Sora and Riku undergo the Mark of Mastery exam, where Master Xehanort's time-spanning second organization is revealed, consisting of himself and fully revived versions of past organization members. Riku passes the test, but Sora fails. Axel's somebody, Lee, joins Sora's group and gets a Keyblade. Kairi begins her Keyblade training. Mickey recounts his adventure with Aqua in the world of darkness, and it becomes clear that it will fall to Sora to save those who have fallen into darkness. But it may already be too late. Again, this doesn't cover everything. Vanitas is back and I didn't even mention him. Yen Sid went largely ignored. The origins of Naminé and Xion as weird hybrid nobodies or something also didn't come up. This series is way too complicated in its current form. Hopefully KH4 will mark a new era for the franchise where things get simple again. You know, when they release it in 2042. Nomura, more like, write stories, Nomura. Hey, my writing might be bad, but at least it's comprehensible. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they too can have their heartless bodies become nobodies and their bodiless hearts become heartless. God, this franchise is stupid.
Me? I'm already happy.